Louise. Oh, I was so disappointed. Oh, and then out in that same woods, there was another guy named Matt. He ended up with, was it one of the best finds of the hunt or the day?
Which?
His name was Matt. I can't remember his last name, but he got the silver cufflinks.
Oh yeah, yep. I never got to see the cufflinks. So I
They're
forget,
gorgeous. I took a picture.
I was looking at somebody's had either a rosette or something else. So I was over in that area. I think I heard
Yeah.
about the silver cufflinks, but I was, you know me, I wandered in the woods and then ended up like 3 stone walls away from everybody else.
Did you see that rosette-looking thing with the star on it?
Yep, that's the one.
Yeah, I got that on video. That, to me, was really epic. I still don't know. I'm curious to see what he found out, if he found out anything about it, if it was military or what.
I'm not sure. I haven't heard. Definitely saw some cool stuff get pulled. Saw a lot of largies, KGs. There was a 2 real. I think there was silver pulled, and I can't remember. I think it was maybe a cap bust dime.
Yeah, there was cap bust dimes. There were seated dimes found. There were several reals found, but that 2 real was just absolutely gorgeous. Oh, it was a little bent and a little stained on the front, but it was epic. That's what I was really hoping for.
A 2 real?
Oh, didn't matter. A whole real. I've only got the cut. Only ever found a cut real. So I would have went for 1, a 2, a 3, 1, 2, 5, whatever. I forget what they go to.
Well, I do have to say, I have to thank you, and I'm gonna thank Miguel again later, but you two were the best companions to dig with for the week because of between not really detecting and not really doing anything for the last month except healing, and then only getting out like, I don't know, 5 hours total in the last 2 weeks to going to dig every day for 4 days. You guys were the best because you know, we took breaks around lunch and actually like had water and would get together and like we'd film each other, take pictures. You know, even we went back to the hotel one day and I was able to like take some allergy medicine because the sinuses were killing me and some meds, and then we went back and like just having that break like made it doable and didn't
It
break
really
me.
did make it doable. Yeah, to have those breaks.
And
my
I think
feet by the end of that hunt was just killing me from all the walking, but it was so fun.
But I do have to say, on like the one day we really did take a different type of a break, it lucked out because Miguel and I were like, we stopped at this pizza place and it was right next to, you know, this gorgeous 1800s home and an 1800s church. And like, it was, I think you had jumped in the car and I said to Miguel, I'm like, I need to do a walk around. I see people out back at this place.
Yeah,
And
I'm sitting in the car, chilling. We finished eating, and they were still outside. And I thought they were just talking and pointing at some old buildings and stuff. So I'm sitting there, you know, just chilling, and I'm like, they're not in the car yet. They must have started talking to somebody. And then I'm just sitting there, and finally I get out of the car, and they're walking back on the sidewalk, and they're all like smiles and their thumbs up, and I'm like, what? Did y'all just get a permission?
Yep.
And they're
2.
like, yeah.
Actually, technically 3.
Yeah, 3 in the end. And so I was like, what? And then they said, yeah, you see that church over there? Tell them how old that church was.
Well, so that's the thing is we weren't sure. The original foundation, we're not sure of the date. They rebuilt the church on top of the foundation in 1869. So we know the original foundation is pre that. The guy, he wasn't sure prior to that. And then, so I mean, he offered the lawn of the house, he offered the lawn of the church, two different, they're right next to each other. And then he's like, oh, come into the basement. So Miguel and I go down into the basement. It's a dirt basement. So we're like, awesome. He's like, you guys can play around in there too. I'm like, oh, this is awesome. So yeah, went to go get Gypsy, and I'm like, I think the first place we should probably go is let's check out the basement. So we all headed for the basement, and I know you and Miguel really started getting into it.
Oh, we went to the back corner of the basement because the whole rest of the basement had all kinds of stuff stored down there. There were church pews, wooden church pews, some broken, just all piled up down there. A lot of other equipment, all kinds of stuff being stored down there. So the only part that we could see that was really open was the back corner of the basement. It was real sandy soil. And so we're like, well, why don't we just grab the pinpointers then? And just, so Miguel and I are over there in the sand, and we're there's all kinds of sand and dust popping up, and it got to Amanda. And she's like, I gotta get out of here.
Just stepping over like the pews and stuff and like looking around. I'm like, okay, first of all, the three of us didn't tell anybody where we were going. We're all of a sudden in the basement of some stranger's place with one door in, then that's the only entrance and exit. And I just got this weird, like, not such a good feeling when I got to the center, and I was like, yeah, this isn't good.
It was probably a spirit or something, because the guy that gave us permission was super nice.
Oh, he was.
Tell him more about that in a minute.
He was.
But yeah, it's funny that you say that. I'm not trying to change the subject here. We'll go back to the rest of the church story in a minute. But that just reminds me of a meme that, and what Mike Hare used to tell me. He said, yeah, somebody just say, stand out there and like when they're trying to draw.
Like the free puppies on the side of a van?
With the free puppies or free candy or something. They're like, come with me. You can metal detect my property. He said you would go anywhere. Here I am in a basement.
Yep.
Sure. But I was with y'all, so I wasn't all alone at least.
Yep, so I did. I stepped outside and I was like, oh, because Miguel had a headlamp, like a flashlight, and I was using my phone, and I could see, you could see the cloud from like the dust and the sand and everything, and I was like, I can't be down here, breathe this stuff. It won't be good.
You didn't need to breathe that.
No.
After your surgery, and I was breathing it, and Miguel was breathing it. And we were kind of.
Yeah, you came out and you were sneezing and sneezing and sneezing, and I'm like, oh boy.
Yep.
The bad thing
Miguel
was.
And I were,
yeah. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I was just going to say that we had our pinpointers and we were poking around in the dirt there, stirring up that dust and everything, and we got some of the most amazing, perfect square nails out of there. Mm-hmm. But it was just too dusty, and we did swing the detector a little under there, but you couldn't stand up or anything. You just had to lay down, and turn the coil a certain way. And it was just full of nails, and we're just like, I think we'll get out of here to go detect the yard.
Yeah, and then the bad thing was the yard, they had just put in all new sprinklers systems.
Sprinklers, yes. So, I mean, and the grass was immaculate.
Oh, it was. It was
beautiful. But the guy was so nice, and I ended up digging two small plugs, no, more than that, in the yard, and I dug a modern quarter, a modern penny. I dug a piece of flat brass, and then I dug a piece of malleable lead, old malleable lead. And so I went back to go talk to the guy, and I gave him that piece of lead. He thought it was cool. He kept it. I told him, you can keep that if you want,
Yeah.
And got to talking to him, and he said, well, you can come up here if you want, but it was on this major hill, and he'd just planted and seeded it all, too, so I didn't want to climb all up in there much, but I did manage another penny out of that.
Yeah, and while you were talking to him, Miguel and I were going to knock on the next door across the street, and the guy...
They had already went across the street and got permission. Told him about that.
Oh, it was... I don't even know. It was just... So, he knocked on the door, and I'm the closest. So when the guy opened the door, it was an older gentleman, and I was like, "Hi, I'm Amanda. We just got, we were given permission across the street to detect, and we wondered, do you own this grass section that's right across the street from it?" And he said he does. I said, would it be okay if the two of us and that crazy girl over there with the detector, detect in there? And he's like, yeah, I don't see why not. And he kind of, he just gave this weird look. He's like, if you actually find something and you have to dig down, let me know, type of thing. And so we're like, yeah, sure, not a problem. And so we walked back to get Gypsy and grab, because we left our machines across the street to go ask the question, And we went back and all gathered our stuff, and the original property owner that we got the okay from was like, hey, all right, well, after you guys, I think Gypsy's like, oh, we're going over here. And he's like, oh, well, when you get done that, I got another spot if you guys want to go to after. So, okay. So we all started detecting this grass area. And I mean, I think what Miguel's first hole was a
Corvette or something.
I think it was a 65 Vet Hot Wheels.
Yeah.
Actually, I think I have it.
He got a modern quarter. I got a modern quarter.
And I got
20
Pepsi bottle tops from the 60s.
Yeah, I dug a few of those. And we were just like, it was all modern stuff. It was very trashy, and we just decided, hey, we'll go see.
It wasn't just decided. The property owner came out and was like watching, and then all of a sudden, all the other people, there were people walking, would stop.
The property owner of the other neighbor guy came out, don't go past this tree line. Or was that him?
Don't care. There was more and more people started to actually crowd around at different points, and I'm like, no, this isn't. I'm not doing this under the scrutiny of, 10 strangers. I have no idea who they are. And I think we all looked at each other. We're like, all right, it's all modern. It's all trash. And went back to the property owner and followed him to another spot.
Yeah. So he took us to a local spot where there was this gorgeous waterfall. Oh my gosh. And what was more amazing about this whole area is these massive rocks wall that was built for this waterfall.
Yeah, the dam.
You want to explain more about that?
It's a stone wall dam that was basically built at some point, and it had a break in it, so the water was actually going over and did make a beautiful waterfall.
It would have been built in the 1700s, wouldn't you think?
Nah, probably
18.
Yeah, probably 1830s, 1850s.
It was beautiful.
It was.
It was so gorgeous. We got some photos. We detected a little.
Miguel found a ring.
Dug there. Yeah, Miguel found a ring, of course. Of course he found a ring. I dug a little end of an old light bulb. I was like, oh, this is trashy. He digs a ring. It was an old, little copper brass ring or something like that. I don't remember.
Yep, it was copper. Probably gold-plated at one point. Wedding band style.
Mm-hmm. So, and then we left. I forget where we went after that. We head on back.
Yeah, we went back to Bone.
Site.
Yep.
Bone site.
Yep, and you and Miguel headed back into the woods, and I got my machine fixed. That it took us
30
minutes to get the duct tape off, and Um, yeah, it was so much fun. But I don't care. My detector got, I didn't get to really detect